It's November 17th, and I'm about as excited as I've been in a long time for a hunt. I have been anticipating this hunt all year. I drew this tag after a number of years of trying. I'm going to be hunting in an area that really has a lot of meaning for me. I'm here in Idaho, but just over the border into Oregon is a spot that I grew up hunting. My first hunts when I was 12 and 13. I'll be coming in for about a week, maybe 8 days, depending on how things go. I'm going to be backpacking in 12 miles to camp and hunting for 6-7 days, and then instead of backpacking out, I will be packrafting out solo. So a little bit of butterflies about that, a little nervous. The Stretch River I'm going to be on really only class 2 rapids, but it is late season. The water will be cold, so there's that to factor into my plans and my cautious approach. And yeah, super excited. We'll see how it goes. Slow going. Who knew? Throwing a rifle, all your hunting gear, camera gear, packraft, a dry suit, a life preserver, and food and camping gear for a week in your pack will make it heavy. Sat down and got ready to glass them for a while, and in that time, 30 seconds, they disappeared. I grew up in a family of hunters, most notably my dad, who I remember heading out each fall on deer and elk hunts with uncles and other relatives before I was old enough to join in myself. Although we all hailed from rural communities on the west side of Oregon, these hunts mostly occurred in remote landscapes of northeast Oregon. I can still remember being riveted by stories my dad brought back from these hunts. Tales of close calls, bone-chilling autumn weather, and most significantly, the adventure of hunting wild remote land excited me like nothing else. And then, to share in the bounty of those hunts that was socked away in our freezer through the winter confirmed my passion for hunting. Well, I'm on my way up the trail. I think it's going to be a little slower than I had anticipated. This pack didn't really weigh it out before we came, which was probably a mistake, but it's a little heavier than I thought. So we're going to make it, but it'll be some slow going. Hope to get in about halfway tonight, 6 miles or so, set up camp for a brief stay, and then get up in the morning, probably do a little glassing from camp, and then pack up and get going and finish up hopefully by midday tomorrow. The route I'm on here on the Snake River here in Hell's Canyon kind of rises and falls as you go, and I'm going to feel that as we go. Pretty awesome in here though. We're heading up closer into the wilder part of the canyon, a place I haven't really been in a lot of years, probably over 10 years since I've even been in here backpacking or hiking. Certainly not hunted. certainly haven't hunted this in at least 20 years. So, it's every bit as rugged as I remembered. Let's brush down these little draws that come off the mountainside down towards the snake. Little detours up these little valleys to get through them. No straight shot, unfortunately. But then you come up like this and get a good view of the river and the canyon. Just a remarkable landscape. So different than so much of Idaho. We're only about 1,300 feet. Great winter range for deer, bighorn, elk. Only accessible by boat or by pack stock or by foot. Just wild as can be. About 500,000 acres or more of wild country here in this Hells Canyon National Recreation Area. Pretty special place.
It's morning here on my second day of my hunt. I still have about another 8 miles is what I'm guessing up to where I'd like to camp if everything works out and I can get this beast of a pack, ridiculously heavy pack up there with my boat gear and everything. If I get up there today, this evening, that would give me 5 full days of hunting. Right now I'm at a nice campsite along the river here. I think I've got a lot of the worst of the kind of scrambling up and down. It's not terrible along this trail, but enough that it slowed me down a bit yesterday and I got a late start. So we made it here. I made it in just after dark last night. Storm blew in, set up tent quick and passed out. And now it's about 8 in the morning. I'm gonna eat my breakfast here along the river and pack up and start out and see where we can get today. Just saw a huge covey of turkey. First game I've seen. Been mostly just head down hiking, but nice to see a bunch of turkey here. And weather's looking a little more promising, although there are some big kind of dark clouds up there in the distance. So we'll see. We might be walking in rain for part of today.
Not especially known for passing on bucks. In most hunts I would have shot that buck probably, but this is hopefully a different kind of hunt for me. Kind of a funny feeling to let that go, and almost guaranteed meat right there. He stood there for probably 15 minutes just 80 yards away with his does and didn't really give me much mind. So anyway, feeling good about seeing those bucks and those deer and that buck, and hopefully we'll find more. See you later, bud. Well, slowly, surely, I'm making it in. Made it about 3.5 miles this morning so far. It's about lunchtime. Not making good time, but doing well enough to slowly make my way in. So those deer earlier, I've seen some more tracks and sign, so I'm feeling really good about my chances here. I'm going to be going around a spot here, ominously known as Suicide Point here in a minute. It's just a really awesome kind of trail right on the side of a mountain off on the cliff, and then it opens up after that. Really get some big views, so I'm excited to really get some spots where I can maybe sit down in glass for a little bit here in another hour or so. So seeing more game now. I just took a break there and spotted a herd of maybe 15, 20 elk. And actually a small group is further to the left, a couple hundred yards, so game is definitely out and about. Kind of nice to see them midday. Thinking maybe this November kind of conditions. Hopefully we'll keep them out longer. Days are short. Total day length is only about 10 hours. We've got those long 14-hour nights. We'll do a little glassing tonight, see if we can find anything else, and then do the same in the morning, and then head out another 3-4 miles to my ultimate camping destination. We're all set up hopefully tomorrow late morning, and have about 4.5 days of hunting around that area. Be glad to get out of this little stretch here. It's winding and rocky and up and down. Not terrible though. Raining again. The last half mile of my hike today was in the pretty heavy rain, so made a decision to camp here. Good spot. It was one of the spots I was anticipating. I'd hoped to make another mile or so, but I've only got, I think at most, like 3.5 miles to where I'm ultimately wanting to camp for the majority of my hunt tomorrow. So we'll get there, get up, do a little glassing if it's not raining, and then get to camp hopefully by midday tomorrow. Have a few hours, 3-4 hours to get out and maybe do a little short hunt tomorrow night, and then we'll get serious after that.
When I turned 12, my dad decided to forego many of those hunts with extended family, and instead began to take my older brother Mike and I on lengthy autumn deer hunts in Hell's Canyon. After a full day's drive to the road's end in Wallowa County, Oregon, we'd saddle up our horses and mules and pack in on week-long or longer hunts that opened my eyes to the wonder of wilderness. The confidence I gained as a teenager, learning to safely exist in wild country for extended periods, set the course for my lifelong obsession with backcountry adventures. It was on these hunts that I truly fell in love with hunting and recreating in wild places, and in particular, the rugged and wildlife-rich landscapes of Hell's Canyon. I marveled at the sheer ruggedness of this place, the views from the summit ridge down to the river more than a mile below, and the overwhelming silence of the lonely ridgelines we hunted.
Got some more elk over here. They're actually on the Oregon side, but stopped to look at them for a little bit. They counted about, I think, 31 elk in that group. It's really low. We're only about 1,400 feet here. Just remarkable to see this kind of landscape in such a wild condition. So rare to see these kind of places that provide that wild winter range like this. It goes from 1400 here, and then over my left shoulder climbs up to about 9600, all in one steady climb. So within a few miles you've got high some range, and right now I'm down at snow-free winter range. And that's what those elk are down here for. Good grazing all winter. Rarely do they get snow down here.
There's definitely deer starting to pop out. I don't know if they're maybe spending time down in cover or in the trees during the daytime. Unlike these elk, which are hanging out in the open all day. Either way, it's nice. I've seen now 3 groups of deer in the last 20 minutes. Almost dark though, but at least we know there are a few in here. All does so far. Actually, one small little buck. I think it was the same group maybe that I saw this morning. But